welcome to today's video. So this time we've got a nice little batch of stuff which I picked up in the month of July 2021, not least of which this rather nice first edition of I the Jury by Mickey Spillane. So this was the first sort of book of Spillane's which really sort of set him on the map to stardom really, and although it's not in its dust wrapper, it is fairly straightforward to get like a facsimile dust wrapper, and I got this one, well, real cheap to be honest. This is consistently £1,000 book in its original wrapper, and I only paid, well, £29 for this one without a wrapper, which is, I feel, an absolute bargain to be honest. Now, it's not perfect. There are a couple of little like sort of stains on the front there, which I'll have a little look at, but I doubt I'm going to be able to do much with it. There's a tiny little sort of fold there of the cover which is brushed off some. I think I can probably just glue that bit down and put that back into place. The corners are a little bumped. Obviously, I'm going to take the dust off this top layer here. But apart from that, I believe inside it's pretty much spanking. A little bit of pencil there to get through. Rub that one out. But apart from that, we're looking good. There we are, 1947 first edition of what became a massive, massive bestseller. So very, very nice to have this one. So I suppose the first thing we'll do is this this top edge here, because this is quite dusty, and certainly it needs a bit of attention. Now, today we've got, let's see, that might maybe 4 or 5 hardbacks and potentially about 20 plus paperbacks to do. So not masses, there's no massive great runs like last time when we had that really cool lot of Ed McBain books. But there is some good stuff here all the same, and it does give me a chance to sort of catch up with you all and let you know what's been happening on the channel, which has been really, really busy of late. So I seem to remember last time I mentioned that I'd been featured on an ASMR sort of best of channel, and they'd taken some of my Star Wars videos, popped them into one sort of compilation as it were, and then put them out, and that's done very, very well, and it brought quite a few people to the channel who'd never come across me before, and I guess they like my sort of cleaning and repair videos, just like this one in fact. And wow, look at that already. Look how that has come up really, really nicely. I'll do a little bit more on the end here. So that meant that, you know, as I passed over 10,000, I immediately went into this massive sort of growth spurt with subscribers and views and everything else. It went, to be honest, bananas, and I was like, wow, this is going crazy. And it's all good though. I was able to keep up my regime, keep filming, and there we are. It's lovely. And yeah, so it's been really good. So welcome all the new people. It has slowed down a bit now, but even so, I'm still, you know, very, very surprised at how quick the channel is growing. After my sort of dedicated channel membership video, I've had I think 6 or 7 people sign up to become channel members now, which is really nice to see. If you've not done it yourself already, you can do it for as little as $1 or £1, and you get to see one early access video every single week, sometimes up to a month before it goes live on the main channel. And of course, all the money I'm gaining from that and Patreon, and all my YouTube money, in fact, it's all going towards the expense of building a dedicated studio. That's what I'm saving up for, and it's going good so far. I've got a few ideas, and before I get anything built, I'm going to go through them all in like a dedicated video about the plan for the studio, and then we'll see what we come up with, and then obviously I'll film the process, because I think it's going to be pretty interesting. So inside the book there, we've just got that little bit. It says like 92.770. That could easily be like an old bookseller's inventory. So I'm just going to gently rub that out from the inside. It's nothing important. It's not the author's signature or anything like that. And I've got got a couple of books now ready to be put into facsimile dust wrapper. One of them is this, and one of them is The Crack and Wakes by John Wyndham, which I've got a nice first of out of a dust wrapper. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, that one. A little bit of dust inside there, so let's just get into the rails, as they call it. I suppose when you think it is 70 odd years old now, it's only to be expected. There we are. Now, I've got this tiny little bit of the cover there, which I'm going to be able to just drop a tiny touch of glue into that, and that should bend it back. So I've just got my little thing of Pritt stick and my tiny screwdriver here, and it just needs the tiniest little bit, just to sort of, there we are, just to sort of bend, glue this back rather. There we are. A little bit squidged out, but that's okay with Pritt stick because you can just wipe it off. There we are. And that's done that really nicely. Now, the only other thing I'm a little bit disappointed about, but I can't complain because of the age of this book, is it's got a few tiny little spots, and it does appear like there may have been a spot there which someone maybe has rubbed out in the past. It does make me a little bit reluctant to do anything with these because on the whole that's still quite nice and vibrant. And don't forget, I'm going to put it in a dust wrapper anyway. So I think I'm probably going to leave it at that for that particular one. I mean, I'm really, really pleased to get it. Obviously, that spine should be as red as the front cover, but it's been on the shelf and it's faded, and that's so common with books with red writing on. Back cover is okay, but that is, I think, for £29, and that was postage paid as well. That was a particularly good find. That one, I'm really pleased to have it in the collection. So that is either juries. Let's pop that over there. Now, we do have another hardback here, and this is Ian Fleming Introduces Jamaica. Now, I used to have this one, and I foolishly got rid of it. Years ago, I thought, well, I'm not ever going to collect the Ian Flemings in hardback, so I'll get a shot of it. But I actually bought a small batch of Fleming related books, and this was one of the ones which came as a bonus. It's actually the second printing rather than the first printing, but I am going to keep it because it's exactly the same cover as the first, but it will just be a nice little sort of fill-in edition just until I do get a first come my way. It's not expensive, and it does turn out. The first edition of this, but it will be just a nice sort of filler for the time being. Very interesting little book. This, obviously, Fleming lived in Jamaica for many years, didn't he? He had his home there, Goldeneye. And this one isn't actually in too bad shape. But yeah, I got a few Bond books, which I've already got on the whole, but they just turned up. It was just a Bond job lot. So I thought, yeah, I'll go for that. I'll just, have a few doubles to trade on. So this one is, that piece at the top is completely missing. But the actual wrapper itself isn't too bad at all, is it? I was thinking I was going to actually polish it, but I don't think I'm going to bother. It's quite clean. It's just, missing that piece, and it's not like a rare first that I'm going to put into a protective sleeve or anything. So I'm just going to leave that one as is, with that little bit of the top edges all nicely dusted off. But that'll be fine on the shelf just until a better one comes along. Okay, the next thing that comes to me is this, which is Paperback Parade. So this is issue 112. This was the one that was out fairly recently, maybe about three weeks ago, as I filmed this. And this was an all Star Trek special. So this is published over in the States by Gryphon Books, which is the company set up by Gary Levisi over in New York. And yeah, this Star Trek special is a real cracker. It's full of Star Trek articles. That was Rowena. She was one of the Star Trek artists. Loads of Trek in here. I've got two articles on Trek on the early pocket books, and also the Bantam paperbacks. So do look out for those in this particular issue if you are into Star Trek books. I think it's a great read, this one, and I'm not biased at all. And there's a little checklist as well. Some of the later books which I haven't got around to covering yet. So a good fanzine, this one, and comes out 4 times a year, so it's a quarterly, and recommended. Really, really good one, that. Another one here, this is something I picked up in Honiton. This is the Old Books Guide, and this is the 2021 version. And you'll see these in almost any second-hand bookshop as ones to pick up, but they're really useful. This covers Cornwall, Devon, even in Somerset, Dorset and Wiltshire. There's all the second-hand bookshops in that area, conveniently on a map, which is quite good, isn't it? It's not, sadly, completely comprehensive, so it doesn't list everything, but it does list a fair few, all right, and tells you where they are and their opening hours and phone numbers and things like that. So if you ever come across one of these in a second-hand bookshop, do pick it up, because it's very, very good. Also recently out was the Penguin Collectors Society magazine, number 96. This was published in June. Nice, interesting cover there. Lots of good stuff in it. I've been asked to write a few articles for this one, so I'm going to, if I get the time. Got some stuff which I filmed, which could sort of become articles. So we'll see how we get on with that. But that's sort of the latest fanzines, with one exception, which we'll have a look at in a minute. A new one from Justin Marriott. Now this is the book club adaptation of Colonel's Son, the Kingsley Amis one. Now this, once again, I've got an absolutely pristine mint one. It's like comes straight from the printers. However, this particular edition is still really nice, and I thought I might, next time I read Colonel's Son, I'm going to read it in this copy here. So I've got a few days off coming up, and this one's on my to be read pile, because it's been quite a while since I have actually read this one. Really nice little version of it. Nice condition as well. The only thing it really needs is the top being brushed off again. As you can see, it's sort of picked up some dust and dirt there. So yeah, so the channel has been going excellently. I'm really, really pleased with how it's going. And as I said, if you can share these videos and get the word out and post on Reddit and places like that, it really does help the channel. You don't need to become a member or anything like that if you don't want to. Just by you watching is absolutely fine with me. And if you pick up a few tips, well, that's all well and good. Now, I did want to talk about a new project which I've had a thought would be quite fun to do. I often get people contact me and they say, hi, I collect this, I collect that, and have you got any of these that you've shown in a previous video? And I rack my brains, but one thing I do love to watch and see myself is having a look through other people's collections. So since these cleaning videos are predominantly book related, I thought it might be a bit of fun if we did a video of, or maybe even several videos of viewers of this channel sharing their book collections with us. So with a series of photos and maybe some accompanying text which I can read out, sort of saying how long they've been collecting and what sort of stuff they're into, how many books they've got, that sort of thing. If they've got any complete sets, I think that would be really cool. So this is the first mention of it now, but I will perhaps do a little short dedicated video asking people to start sending me some stuff. But if you want to get the ball rolling, all I say is send as many photos as you can. Just drop them into my normal julesburt@gmail.com email address, and I'll start compiling them ready for a future video, because I think that'll be really cool. It'd be nice to show any sort of, what's the favourite book in your collection? Which book did you get cheap, which is, quite expensive nowadays? That sort of thing, Now I've got a couple of these. So these are the 60s Jim Lawrence James Bond strips. I believe they were published in the Daily Express, and they put them all together. I remember going to the London Comic Show as a retailer in 1988, I think it was, or 87, and there was a guy who had he must have had 100 of these, the original artworks, because they're only, if you look, they're only like 3 panels, and he had about 100 of them. They were a tenner each. Can you believe it? And I didn't pick up a single one because I didn't know a lot about them at the time. How frustrating is that? You know, one of those missed opportunities. However, as you can see, the cover of this is actually quite grubby and dirty, and I think it's going to come up really nicely once we've given it a bit of a polish. I've never read these all the way through. I've read a couple of the stories over the years, but I thought it might be quite fun to read these from fresh, and Titan Books do generally do really good products like this. So this was part of that Bond lot again, as well as some paperbacks, and I got volumes 2 and 3 of this. So I think what we'll do, I'll give the top edge a clean first of all, and then I'm going to get the old polish out, and I'm going to give these covers a real good polish because they're going to come up lovely. You know, I mean, they're not dirty. I've got them to read. It's not. I don't need to keep them mint or anything. They are reading copies, but I remember I had read of these in the past. They're really, really good. So there we are. Now that cover is so awful. I don't even want to touch it anymore. So I've got Mr. Sheen, which is just my usual go-to furniture polish. Be quite generous with that, and then I've got my sort of soft cloth. And this is going to really bring this, because it's nice, got a nice shiny cover. This is going to bring this one up really nice. Yeah, so if you are tickled by the idea of sharing your collection with, probably 1,000+ viewers over time, maybe more than that, I'll obviously credit, where the collections have come from, and happy to give you the shout out. But I personally love looking through people's collections, so I think that would be really, really cool if we did that, because I know I've got a lot of dedicated book collectors on who watch the channel, and well, we all love sharing our collections, don't we? All of us. So I think that would be really cool. So I put a particular blob on here because if you look at the bottom of the spine, it's got like a sticker on. They may have come out of a charity shop or something like that. So with this bit of polish, look at that. It's lifted it right off, almost like magic. That's all it takes, and it's particularly easy on these books because they've got a nice glossy cover. So glue and things like that, fingerprints, just lift straight off without any sort of issue. That's the back. As you can see, it's really dirty, and you can actually just spray. I can just spray the polish straight on. Now, as I filmed this, literally just last night, I was over the moon to get something that I've been after for a very, very long time. And that's an original Beaver and Tapley 1956 purpose-built Penguin bookcase. So these were released by Beaver and Tapley, as I said, in 1956, and they were a massive seller. And you could have them sort of in 2 versions. One was like wall-mounted, and the other one was like a freestanding one with feet, which is the one I was after, and I got one yesterday. So it's on its way to me now, and obviously I shall video that one when it comes through, but I was delighted to get it, and I shall look forward to sharing that one with you and filling it out with some of my favourite penguins. It's going to be great. There we are. So that has made that book much, much cleaner than it was now. And certainly, look at that difference it made. Just incredible, isn't it? Inside, I think he was okay. I didn't see any sort of markings or anything. So that one, yeah, that one's ready to rock and roll. So that's good news. And I have got volume 2 here. So if you compare it, you can see that volume 2 was, still, let's put that right over there. Volume 2 was also, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but also very dusty and dirty. So once again, I'll start on the top edge. Got a bit of fading there, but I don't mind. I mean, I paid for all these bond books in total. I only paid about 15 quid, and that included the postage. I mean, it worked out because I got some paperbacks as well, which was actually what I wanted mainly from that lot. Worked out about £1.25 per book, which I didn't think was too bad at all. The edges aren't too bad. It's just the actual covers are quite dusty. Turned over a page there. How dare they? Right. So you can almost see there's like a shadow of dust and dirt on the edges, but that's nothing that the polish won't get off. You'll be quite generous on it. Yeah, so I got this this lovely penguin bookcase. I can't wait to get it. I'm praying it survives transit intact, because I guess it's quite delicate, but the woman I bought it off says she's really wrapped it well, and fingers crossed I'll get that this week. So it's been a bit of a tough old time. My boy Sam caught COVID. A lot of his schoolmates got it as well, and it took him a couple of weeks to get over that. Then I'd only been back at work 2 days when I got blimmin' pinged, and I had to retrospectively go and isolate for 6 days, but I was able to work from home, so it wasn't a holiday. But I managed to get by okay. And thankfully Sam is A1, he fully recovered, got a bit of a cough, but he's just about there. So that's good news. And I never caught it. I've been double jabbed, so as long as I'm careful, I should be fine. But I do know in the UK now, pretty much everything is opened up, so we're almost back to normal. And there's been shows. There was a big paperback show in London, which sadly I missed. I would have really loved to have gone to it, but the heavens did not align, and it was actually my dad's birthday that day, and I'd already invited him round, and they'd only given us a few weeks' notice, so I missed out on that particular paperback show. I haven't actually heard how it went down from anyone who was there, but hopefully I'll get to the next one once things, when and if things get back to an air of normality. It wasn't even in the same place where they've been held for many years, so it wasn't an area I was familiar with. But even so, next time if I'm around and I've got a bit more warning, I will definitely try and get along, and more importantly, I'll film the next paperback show I go to. So this one came out just after the last video was shot, and it's Paperbacks at War, which is the latest publication from Jason Marriott. This has got 170 war-related books and comics which are reviewed. I've got just one review in this one, which is of the Charlie's War comic book series from Battle, which I absolutely loved. Really great series. But this is superb. In fact, you can see that I've been making notes as I've been going through of books that I'd like to track down after reading the reviews. It's that good. So I think if it's a genre that you're not ultra familiar with, this is such a good little introduction. It's very similar to the Western one he did. These all review specials are fantastic, and I do like the approach Justin is making. That will be reviewed in a bit more depth in a dedicated video on my next sort of dedicated fanzines video, because I did do one just not too long ago. This one has come, it's the latest entry from the Men's Adventure Library, edited by Robert Dice and Wyatt Doyle and published by New Texture. And I've only just received this one, but I cannot wait to dive in. They're just so good. So I've read a few of these now, and they are just brilliant fun. The one here, I Watched Them Eat Me Alive, was the very first one I got. Just on a whim, really. I'd seen it advertised. I thought I'd going to give that a go, and I couldn't put it down. It was that good, and I'm hoping that this is going to be the same. In fact, I'm sure it is. So I shall, as they say, dip my toe in gently with this one. But I'm very, very much looking forward to reading this. It looks great. So I've got a couple of days off coming up. So I'm going to dive in, and I'm going to give a proper, sort of more detailed review of this one in a week or so's time. All right, but great stuff. Just to let you know that one is out. The last of the, I got these cover proofs now. So these were also from Gary Levisi in the States. And Gary knows that I collect hard case crime. And, him, because he does Paperback Parade, he gets sent cover proofs now and again. So he sent me these 4 cover proofs of 4 hard case crime titles. So it's basically just the cover, so you can get an idea of what the book would be like. These traditionally got sent to bookshops so that the person could see what it would look like on the shelf. It gives a synopsis of the story, the marketing details, how much it would be, and page count and stuff like that. And then, of course, the on sale date, which in this case was the 29th of January 2008. So I got 4 of these that got sent to me, and they are really, really cool. There's that one, Killing Castro. Lawrence Block, who I love, really great author. Roger Zelazny one, Dead Man's Brother, and The Cutie, another great author, Donald E. Westlake. Pretty cool, eh? How cool are they? They're a really nice little addition to my hard case crime collection, so thanks for that, Gary. Now, the last of the sort of larger books, and then we've just got paperbacks to get through, was this one. Now, I used to have this years ago, and it's the Agatha Christie Companion, and it is a beautifully designed book, and I wanted to share it because I have been getting into Agatha Christie again. Been reading a few of them. I know it's a sort of cozy crime, but I do, out of all the cozy crime authors, she's the one I most like. And this particular book, I remember selling it back in the day in my shop, and I had it, and I don't know why I got rid of my copy of it, but thankfully it's really easy to pick up cheap nowadays, you know. And there's Burr Island there, and there is Burr Island, where Christie stayed. It's sort of an Art Deco building. And I actually, when I used to do some acting, I actually was in an Agatha Christie called, and then, what was it called? Towards Zero, with Geraldine McEwen. And we filmed, to get over to Burr Island, you have to go across on this ferry, which goes across there. So when the tide is out, you go across on a ferry, like a land ferry. And I filmed it just sort of on the picture, just sort of here near Burr Island. Absolutely fantastic experience, and brilliant stuff. And in fact, my sister is going to be having her 50th birthday in that very building in Burr Island, her birthday party. Right, so we have, I think what we'll do, I'll take the dust wrapper off, because these copies, I bought this not for its collectability at all. I bought it for the content. So I will tidy the wrapper up in a minute, but I've just bought it for the content. So even though it doesn't look too bad, and the book isn't exactly very old, I am going to just give the top edge a bit of a clean off there, just in case, because sometimes, as we've proved in the past, the dirt can be invisible, can't it? Well, look, quite a bit came off there from that little rim there. It's weird, isn't it? There we are. All right. And then if you have a look through, I'll just give you an idea. Each of the Christie stories with the original book dust jackets, sometimes in little groups of jackets as well. Very, very nice if you're a fan of the original books. Obviously, a lot of these were reissued in facsimile form back in 2008 in the UK by Collins as part of a part work. Lots of requests for them to re-release that, but they've decided against it, which was a shame. But my sister has got the full set, and I used to have a load of them, but I just didn't have the room in the end. But there you are, as you can see, some lovely books to enjoy. And if you're into Christie, it's a great book to get your hands on. Now this dust wrapper, there is just a little bit of wear. So it's actually got a sticker here. So someone has stuck that sticker over it. They've called it a book bandage. So let me just see if with a bit of teasing it will come off easily or not. Oh yeah, I think because this is a nice glossy cover, I don't think we're going to have too much issue taking this off. And I would imagine it's just got the original price underneath, whatever that might have been. Probably about $12.99 or $14.99, I'm not sure. It's coming. Slowly but surely. The thing with stickers is patience, of course. Yes, if you ever are watching Towards Zero, it was an ITV production with Geraldine McEwen as Miss Marple. You might spot me in it. $18.99 this book was. I think it cost me $3.79 including postage. You know, one of those sellers on eBay where, well, it was World of Books where they just do dirt cheap books, including the postage. So it's absolutely awesome. Now, although there's a little bit of like edge wear, as I said, I mainly bought it just to have a read and enjoy the pictures inside because it's so good. But I will just give the dust jacket a tiny little polish there. That sticker's left a little bit of residue. But I'm not going to go mad because it's not dirty. It wasn't like those James Bond books, which were quite dirty. But that's got that little bit of glue up, and I just run this over the edge here, just to give it a little bit of a tidy up. Because sometimes, you know, it might be a bit greasy and what have you. So not going mad, just quite a gentle little clean just to get these tidy. I will do the back cover as well. I'll pop a little bit on there. I know Christie's proved very, very popular during lockdown. Lots of people have been enjoying rereading her books. There we are, that's actually made quite a big difference. So just grab the book, slide it in there, and there we are. Right, that's it for all the big books, thankfully. And now we've got some nice paperbacks to do. And we must have, we've got quite a few here actually, more than I thought. So I actually picked up a penguin that I needed, amazingly. So we'll show that one in a minute because they don't turn up very often. Let's start with this one then. So Sidney Hyam's Sex, Sin and Society. Wow. Now, I picked up a box. Basically, it was like a box of books, and I'm not kidding you, it was a huge box, and it was only $9.99 for the whole box. But in it were a few sort of nice period 60s paperbacks, and a few books that I spotted that I definitely needed. So I just bought the whole lot, pulled out all the books that sort of fitted in with like the vintage sort of publishers that I collect. And then the rest of it I just took to the charity shop. So I gave them a big old bag. So first of all, I went to like the Sue Ryder, I think it's Sue Ryder, like the charity for cancer, to help support victims of cancer. Bearing in mind, these are coming from me in a delicious bag, you know, literally the books look new. No, don't take books. I was really surprised. I couldn't believe it. I said, what? I said, no, you know, not really got the room for books. I thought, okay, fair enough, mate, you know. Just went down to the Children's Hospice and they gladly took them. So there you go. But boy, was I surprised. So as you can see very, very clearly on this one, you've got a line there and it goes to there. And that's where that's been in a pile. And then you've had another book that's been like that. And that's caused that dust to drop on it over the years. So with my polish here, look, it's almost like magic. You can see, look at that. Amazing, isn't it? Absolutely incredible. So I'll just do this top half. Now the bottom half's even more pronounced. And it will be like magic. But it's just dirt and grime that's been allowed to accumulate. And on a cover which is yellow like this, it really shows it up. Ugh, look at it. Black. Black. Horribleness. A fresh bit of cloth now. It's never going to come up perfect, but it's going to be at least, it will feel a bit cleaner in the hand, shall we say. What a dirty book this was. It's because of the subject, of course, isn't it? Sex, sin and society. Let's give the spine a bit of a, but nice condition spine. This is a console book. These are like a spin-off of the British Ace, I believe. Ace console, I believe. Top of my head. Very, very foxed, but apart from that, quite a nice little edition. That one has come up all right, hasn't it? Compared to what it was, but super foxed on the edge. 1961. 60 years old. Okay, next another one. Interesting subject, Streetwalker. Another Ace book, 2 and 6. This one's not so bad. Still a bit foxed on the edges like most of this collection were. They probably got damp at some point. This is another one from 1961. And that very early, it says here, New English Library. I don't think it was because, well, not the New English Library that perhaps we know, should we say, you know? Anyway, I'll just give this one a little polish. So, while we work our way through these paperbacks, I'm just trying to think if I've got anything else to mention. Oh yeah, so, fans of Penguin books will know of the classic 60s designer Romick Marber, and he ended up designing what was called the Marber grid, which was like a template for Penguin to Penguin designers to produce covers, and a fantastic website has been launched to celebrate his career. That's just romickmarber.com. And I thought, well, this is just the sort of thing viewers of my channel will be fascinated by. It's got lots of great photos of memorabilia and shop display dump bins and posters that he designed in the 60s, and they're just awesome. He did about 100 crime jackets, and he did about another 30 or so for Penguin other series. And I've done a little, just a quick 4 or 5 minute video showing some bits from the website as a little teaser. And I wrote to the website designers saying, that, do you mind if I just cover the website on my channel, just in a short video, because I've got a lot of interested people basically. And the designer's partner of the last 15 years came back to me, Orna, and she said, yeah, absolutely, but I'm still waiting. At the moment, I'm still waiting on the approval to say, yeah, they're good for it to go ahead. So I've done the video, it's online privately, and I'm just waiting for the go ahead to say that they're happy for it to go live. But fingers crossed, it's all right. Look at this. The guy who had this, look, you know, that's a book on prostitution. This one here, To Beg I Am Ashamed, the autobiography of a prostitute. And the next one you got here, another lovely corgi, The Flesh is Weak, the full story of the sensational Eros film. Well, I don't know about that. That once again looks like Ladies of the Night. I'm guessing this is the film time for this one. Millie Vitane, John Derrick and Frida Jackson. Vice Racket. Cool. Cool. I like the little corgis. These are great, and as I said, I don't often pick them up. So when they do turn up, I try and grab them when I can see them. This is a nice copy, so it cleans up. It's still got lots of original cover gloss intact. Amazing the amount of dirt that's come off that one, or this one I should say. Well, I shouldn't be amazed looking, because these all came from the same place, so I should have expected it really, but look at that. Absolutely nuts, isn't it? Well, it's lifted most of it. It's got it looking pretty good. There's no obvious muck on that one. I'll give all these a brush down in a minute. Nice Agatha Christie. I have already got this one, but this is a nice copy of this one. This is by designer Tom Adams. It doesn't actually give his name on the back, but it is one of his. I think it may even be one of his very final ones that he did. Tom Adams is a great designer. I have done a sort of dedicated video on his Agatha Christie titles, and they did release a book on his artwork. I'm a real fan, and I'm sort of gutted that he died just as I was starting this channel, because he actually lived really close to me, and I could have got to meet him and maybe got to interview him for the channel, but what a shame. Anyway, I've been trying, as I said, to pick up the different Agatha Christies, and some of the books I sent to my sister, who's a real fan. I've got some books, I've probably got 5 or 6 different versions of it, but that's come out really nice, isn't it? They've all got their own charm, and yeah, it's good stuff. Here's a little 60s Fontana. This is another movie tie-in. Harry H. Corbett of Steptoe and some fame, but not a film I can remember seeing him in. 1964, so Steptoe would have been around at that time, but pretty cool all the same. I think we're going to need to find a clean bit of cloth here, after those other early books were a bit hammered. Even though this one didn't, on the face of it, look too bad, in actual fact, when you've given it a clean on a brand new bit of cloth, look at what's come up just off that little bit there, you know. It's amazing. The eye just doesn't see it, but it's there. And it's only when you take a step back and look at the books once they've been cleaned, what difference it makes. I mean, really, it does. Absolutely fantastic. And if you have got the time and inclination to go over the worst sort of books in your collection and give them a bit of a clean, I think you'll find the process is definitely worth doing. This one I haven't got either, at least not in this edition. It's Winston Churchill's Early Life. Absolutely brilliant book, this. Big fan of Churchill, and this one, his early life is excellent. Here's another lovely Tom Adams cover for Evil Under the Sun. Can't remember if I've got this one or not, but I had a couple come in. I don't think I have. It's not mint by any means, but it's a nice one. Once again, doesn't give Tom Adams as the artist, but it's definitely one of his. It's got a little 25p in or something there, so I'll get rid of that. These are sort of late 60s covers, late 60s editions. I remember these being very, very prolific when I was growing up. My mum had a huge box of them. These and pan editions predominantly. Price of some of the Penguin ones though has been incredible. I've started tracking vintage paperbacks because I think the videos are fascinating, and you come across stuff that you just wouldn't believe is making the sort of money that it's making. So there's been some real eye-openers. So if you've not watched any of my sort of eBay selling price videos, you're in for a treat because there's some shockers. One of the biggest surprises was in the price paid for a pan first edition of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. It was a particularly nice copy, and there are actually 3 versions of it, and I don't know which one is more valuable than any other one, but it went for £1,295, which is big money. I mean, just crazy money for a paperback. So I think that's set a new record. Nice one as well, isn't it? After the Funeral. Got a bit of a spine crease, but even so, still very nice. So next one we've got here is one of the later James Bonds. So these are like the sort of the mid-70s ones, early to mid-70s ones. And there's so many different editions to get your hands on, but I love collecting all the different covers of the Bond books now. So this is one that turned up fairly in that job lot, in fact, that we've had a little look at. And I do love a job lot. So it's not perfect, but these don't seem to turn up in great shape. They always seem to be, read quite a bit, and the spines fade, but that's okay. Collecting Bond is an ongoing process, isn't it? And we're constantly upgrading, and another one will come my way. I absolutely guarantee that. When you think how many of the Bond books were sold, it's amazing to think how scarce they seem to be nowadays. You just don't see them around, and you used to be, you could go in a charity shop, you couldn't move for them. Not anymore. The times have changed. Now this was a shame because this is a really, really nice sort of copy of this one, but it has got a faded spine for You Only Live Twice, which is a shame, but for the time being I'm going to be quite happy with that one. It's not the end of the world. It'll do. It'll do. Here's another one here. Diamonds Are Forever. Good stuff. This one's not too bad. The 28th printing from 1974. Yeah, that's quite a nice copy of that one actually. That's nice. Now we've got a copy of the Diamond Smugglers, but once again, it came in that job lot. I've got a few copies of this, and this one's actually got someone's coloured in the red. But I shall give this to someone who's never read the Diamond Smugglers before, because it's such a good book. It is riveting. If you've never read it, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Obviously, Fleming used his research to do before he wrote Diamonds Are Forever. Which opens with lots of stories about diamond smuggling out of the mines. It's brilliant. Now I think what we'll do, I'm going to do get some of the top edges dusted off, because we've got about another pile similar again of paperbacks to get through, and then we'll be just about done. These bottom edges always aren't too bad. It's always the top edges that are the worst. few bits of dust coming off there. That's those. Now, I've got a few here, which are sort of pocket size, so do these ones first. Okay, then we've got these small ones here. Cool. So that's that little lot all cleaned and looking good. This is one of the penguins that I got recently, number 358. I've already given it a clean, so it's not too bad condition. This one, nice and flat. It's super rare. I'm down to just a handful now to have the first 1,000 in first edition. And maybe I'll never get it, but it was nice to get an odd one, which hasn't happened in quite a while. Now, I picked up a few of these. I haven't had any new Collins White Circle books in my possession lately, and I was pleased to see these ones. They're not all perfect by any means, and this was actually a double from my collection, so I'm keeping a little batch back for my sister, who as it's her birthday coming up and she likes Christies, so I'm going to give her a few vintage editions. So that was a double that I had. This is one I picked up brand new. Well, not brand new, I picked it up recently online, and it's one I didn't have in the collection. There's about 400 or so to collect. In fact, in the crime series, there's about 300 plus the service editions, which make it up to about 400. But ideally, I'd like to get at least all the Christies, and I've virtually got them all anyway, but this is one I didn't have. It wasn't expensive. This one cost me a £5, and it's a really nice, clean, tight, flat copy of this one. It's a wartime paperback. How many of them have survived in that condition? In fact, that literally needs nothing. Unlike this one, which once again I've already got it, but it's my sister's favourite one, and I wanted to get her a nice vintage copy of Evil Under the Sun. However, in the end, it turned up a little bit more beaten up than I might have liked. But I thought, well, it doesn't matter. We'll give it a little repair job on my pickups video, so that's what I'm going to try and do now. It ain't great, but it's still quite supple. The spine's a bit hammered, but let's get this this pound off, and then really we just need to re-glue it. And it ain't never going to win no beauty contests, but if we can get it back at all to relative tidiness, I'll be pleased. Well, that's got that out, so that's okay. I didn't really spot any other pencil writing inside here. it is just a sort of tatty old copy of this one, unfortunately. But when you think when they got produced, you know, it's no sort of surprise that the penguins of this period are particularly scarce. These aren't worth as much as you might think, and if you compare them to the penguins of the time, they seem to have survived a little bit better, and potentially they had better print runs than the penguins, but it's difficult to know for sure. This is a shame. This edge troubles me a bit because it's sort of got the remnants, see bits of it dropping off. It's got remnants of glue and stuff. But I don't want to be spending hours trying to get it looking as good as possible when all I'm going to be doing it basically is regluing it back on. So I'm really torn on this one. I think I might put a bit of glue in there just to get that as nice and flat, and then we'll take a look. So we'll pop that up there a moment. The actual jacket itself, I mean, as I said, it's a pretty worn old one. It's not great by any means, and there's nothing to really do to improve it. But I think if we do reglue that back in, I think it will come out all right. It'll make it last a little bit longer. It's a shame because it's sort of borderline if it's worth repairing, but I do believe it is. So let's just pop some glue into this like trench here, and I think that's probably worth doing. No one's going to see this, of course, so in fact that's just sort of bent over, it's just completely come off, but I'll leave it there. That's absolutely fine. It can just act as a little basis for where we're going to stick the spine in a minute. It's also got a bit of spine roll, not too bad to be honest, just a little bit there, but I mean it is pretty borderline, isn't it? Let's be honest. Let's give it plenty of glue. Oh, you can sort of feel it crunching. And I know people write onto the channel and they say, oh, you should get some bookbinder's glue which you can sort of paint on, and I suppose I could. I mean, I'm not rebinding hardbacks or anything, I'm only doing a few paperbacks, aren't I? But I suppose it's something I could consider. Well, that looks distinctly gluey. Bits of it falling off as you do it. Now I'm going to put a nice wedge along the spine here. Not too fussed if it's not smooth because we want to put plenty on. We need it to stick and never ever come off again. But I remember when I picked up a big load of these Collins crime titles, lots of them needed their spines regluing because the glue just hasn't survived very well. Right, make sure we got it round the right way, which is, yeah, it's that way. Make sure this is round the right way, which it is. And we'll just pop the two together, get them kissing. There we are, that actually looks pretty good. Just have to make sure it's not too far down. That looks fairly square to me. A few little bits of debris coming out, but nothing to worry about. I'm just pushing on the spine as much as I can to make that glue stick. There we are. I think that's pretty good, to be honest. I don't think that's going to be going nowhere. Yeah, there we are. That's all right, isn't it? That'll do. That'll do. And that just sort of needs to sort of set now for a few days. Let it just really solidify. And we should be good to go. Give it one last sort of little clean in a minute with the edges. In fact, why don't we do those three now? Those three Collins ones. Because these are the oldest books that we've got today. Actually, that crossword book was slightly older. There we are. Lovely. Okay, so we've got about 10 or so paperbacks left to do to finish off today's business. A little bit of glue on my workspace here. There we are. Hope you didn't find the red too garish today, but I like to have a bit of contrast on the books that I'm cleaning. So here's another one from that same collection. Look, it's a similar sort of thing. The Shame of a City. The Scandal That Is London After Dark. A Shameless City of Corruption. That was it last week, you know. So another one looking at London's nightlife by the look of it. First published in 1960 and as a Panther in 1963. Although this is the reprint. But as any publisher will tell you, sex sells. And in the world of second-hand paperbacks, not so much sex, but sleaze sells. And it's a collectible subject. This one just needs that little blast of polish on the front cover. And this black cover, you see around the side there, like all the edge is like really dusty in that. So if I just pop my duster on, it's just going to vanish and come up like a little beauty. Do the spine and the back cover. So books with black covers and black spines are always difficult to find in top condition. And look at that. You see that's just come up perfect now. Good stuff. Let's stick that over there. Now I picked these two up together. There was a couple of pans that I didn't have. They were both just 99p each. I was really, really pleased to get them. So there's by the same author. Look, a book on. He was a surgeon. And they're Pan X books, which I have already covered in the channel, but these are new additions to the old collection, so I was pleased to get these. I knew I didn't have them, and when the pans turn up cheap, like 99p each, and they're ones I haven't got, I will buy them for that money. I mean, blimey, particularly when they're nice condition like this. So I was pleased to get these off the same. These all need a wipe across the top. It's off the same seller. Surgeon in California. Wonder how long it'll be till we can get to California again. There's that one. Picked up a nice little penguin. This is the Penguin Biography of Beatrix Potter. Really, really nice one, this. The biography itself came out a few years prior to this, and the Penguin edition sort of updates it ever so slightly. Really nice book, this one. Have a look inside. I love penguins from this period. And this is the sort of book that Penguin back then would do very, very well. Lovely book. Oh, it's got 9p inside. Let's get rid of that. 9D. There we are. Now, one thing I have been doing on the channel lately is I've been trying to do a shorter week. So I went out and filmed about, I don't know, 15 shorts, which I repurpose. So I stick them up on TikTok, or as I call it, Tickety-Tock. And I do a version for them. And then I do a slightly modified version for YouTube. And the YouTube ones I stick up once a week, usually on a Tuesday. And I've been enjoying doing those and revisiting some older subjects that I've not looked at for a while, like the Doctor Who books, for example. But also showcasing stuff which is coming up, like the Kim Stanley Robinson books, which I'm about to do a proper video on, although I've got to dig out some shop display stuff that I've got from back in the day to finish that off, to help with that video. So it's all good. So that's good. So, you know, putting up a shorter week I think is going to help. And as I said, I'm over on the TikTok, so if you look up Jules Burt, I'm sure you'll find me. I've not got many followers over there. They're only about 40, so early days though, you know, early days. But I do love the fact that you can use copyrighted music. They encourage it, in fact. And I believe I have quite wide musical knowledge. You know, I did used to have a music shop for 10 years, and it's nice to put, you know, known tracks against videos, you know, rather than having to use copyright free or ones which come with my video editor, you know. These are quite nice, a couple of Penguin Modern Classics. It's a list I absolutely love. I mean, I love it. I'd like to get some more, and I am planning a dedicated video on Penguin Modern Classics at some point. I have also filmed a great video on, I think it's a great video on Penguin science fiction, and that one should be going live very soon, if it's not already. I can't remember when it's due. But nice to get these in nice first editions, first Penguin editions, of course. There we go. Here's a nice 60s Penguin crime. I'm not sure if this is a first or not. It is, yeah. So the cover was designed by Massimo Vignelli. However, it's not. It uses the Marber grid. So this is, I was talking about Romic Marber earlier in the video, and this uses his layout. This is one of those. And this was the last book that came in that collection that I bought. So I was pleased to get it. It's one I haven't got, and I guess I don't think I've got this one. And it's really nice. Very much of its time. So that's cool. Now we've just got 3 paperbacks left, and then we're done for today. So we've got another one. Now this was the movie tie-in to Farewell My Lovely by Raymond Chandler, which I definitely not got this one. The original British publication of Farewell My Lovely was actually a Penguin original back in the day. They were the first ever people to publish it, and it's actually quite a scarce and valuable Penguin edition. I think it's about £15 to £20 in nice shape, and it's in like more traditional Penguin crime covers. quite nice, that. That came from that collection as well. And then we've just got a couple of puffins. One I think I've got and one I'm not sure of, and one I definitely haven't. So this one is one I definitely didn't have. It's got a bit of a rough spine, but after the first sort of 150 puffins, I'm not mad about getting every one or anything. I'd like to get sort of the first 300 and knock it on the head there. And this does fall in that batch, and it's one that I haven't got, so happy to get that. And then we got this one here, which I believe I have already got, but it might be a better copy than the one in my collection. So we'll give that one a little wipe as well. There we are. Now I just need to give the top edges the old toothbrush treatment, and then we'll be done. Cool. A few plumes coming off there. Look at that. Blimey. Just can't tell, can you? Look at that. Wow. Incredible. Lovely. Last little batch. Well, when I started filming this video, I thought, well, I haven't actually got much to film this time round. But it's turned out to be well over an hour again. I don't know what you do. You keep me talking and cleaning, and the time just flies by, doesn't it? There we are. Right, let's get that lot out on display. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed looking through that collection of my recent pickups for the month of July 2021. Certainly some interesting stuff there. If you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it that thumbs up, and do please consider subscribing for regular vintage paperback coverage, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.